my question to you in the room was, who does marriage really benefit? And to me, it really only benefits the broke person. It benefits the person with the least to lose. And to me, I don't understand at this point, and I didn't want to make it a gender thing, only because we also brought up Wendy Williams and her divorce, as well as Mary J. Blige and hers. So to me, I want to bring it up on a socioeconomic scale, because as we talked about, women weren't even able to have bank accounts up until the 1970s. Correct. So we know that it was an institution put into place of business. So why, in 2021, would someone go into a marriage with a person that maybe is not even as equally yoked as them?
I mean, I think it depends. I think everybody gets something out of it. I think the people when you said that last night, I was like, no, it's beneficial for all parties, because generally the breadwinner is the one that likes to be in the most control anyway.
Ooh,
so,
okay.
And that could be the man or the woman, right? Unfortunately, what we've seen in our industry more often than not is that when the breadwinner is the woman, the man ends up doing some fuck shit and ends up cheating and playing himself, and then the woman who didn't make him sign a prenup ends up being able to walk away with a ton of money that he's not even deserving of because he's a piece of shit. And the women end up getting the short end of the stick, right? In addition to being humiliated and embarrassed, now I got to pay your stupid ass. Adele too. Adele had to pay her ex-husband some wild ass
about Adele.
check to get the fuck out of there, right?
Yeah, can I ask you though? We also talked about, do you not think that women, and I'm only asking this because I did watch the Wendy Williams doc.
Yeah.
She was aware that cheating was taking place. And we had the conversation about men, when they have that power and have this amount of money, their wives know what they doing on the side. So do you not think that women know that their men, despite them being the breadwinners, also maybe allow their partners to do what they do on the side?
I think there's arrangements that exist. I've seen it exist with some people that I know and that are married with money. And it's so much money that you're not just protecting your wife's reputation or whatever, or your kid's reputation, but you're also having to protect yourself and your family because of the money, right? Because you make so much money, it's like you almost have to make sure that there's some level of security around your movements, right? Which makes me sad, because then, when those arrangements or alleged proposed arrangements end up getting violated, then the women are left feeling really, really salty about the fact that, damn, bro, like we came to this agreement, and that under any other circumstance would not really be tolerated, right? For a multitude of reasons. But here we are, and you can't even follow those rules, right? Like you can't even stick to the script on that. And I think in general, that just goes back to conversations that we have around people being honest about what they want and what their needs are, right? It's like, if you don't want to be in a situation with somebody that very clearly cannot meet your needs, like, then you shouldn't be there. Like if they don't, in a situation like this, we don't know what the extent of their divorce.
Oh, I'm glad you brought it back to there, because bitch, I thought you was talking to me.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
I felt red.
I mean,
bitch, I felt a little red. I was like,
no.
Is you talking about me or Dr. Dre, bitch? Because
I'm bringing it back to.
I love that you brought it back. Let's go back down.
I was not reading you. I promise you, I was not reading you. No, I think going back to something that you had mentioned to me last night too, about somebody that we know, that is dealing with a situation now where he got a woman pregnant outside of his marriage, and it's like, that's the ultimate disrespectful, like shitty move for a man, right?
It's hard though, because if you give your partner the wherewithal to have sex with other women, we all know how babies are made.
Right.
They are made through intercourse.
Right.
So the idea that
there's a risk.
It's
always a risk.
It's always a risk. STDs and babies are risks associated with sex.
Right. And it's also, when you're a man in a situation like this where you're in power or whatever, and you marry a woman, like they were married for 24 years, right? And we actually, oddly enough, we talked about it last week. And I think she was his attorney. She was his attorney before they... But she was his attorney. She was his attorney when they got married. So there's a lot more to this. It's not just like, well, this was a one-sided thing where we see a situation where a woman is a gold digger and she wants to be that. No. This was a mutually beneficial situation that they engaged in. And the way that we look at marriage, you know, for previous generations was from a place of need, right? It was from a place of need. Now we look at it as it is a business it is transactional. It is a business transaction. Being married to somebody is a business move. So either you're marrying, the person who's the breadwinner is marrying into a situation because they need someone who's going to be a caretaker and a home manager, house manager, someone that's going to play that sort of role and not have to contribute to something financially, or, you know, sometimes, rarely, more infrequent than frequent, we see somebody who has all this money and is a breadwinner and wants to be with somebody that's a breadwinner also, right? You know what I mean? You can look at a situation like Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian. Like, neither one of them financially needs either person to be who they are, right?
Listen, I'm gonna go to Oprah route and we gonna call it a day. Give me a motherfucking Stedman. Let that nigga show up for me how he need to show up for me in all facets. And that's it. I just want a Stedman. That's it. That's all I want.
Just get a golden retriever, bro.
No,
just get a dog.
First
don't even bother. Just get a dog.
I can't fuck a dog, and I'm not into that. Okay, so sorry. I need the consistent dick, but also, like we've talked about on this show, I need a man to show up for me in every other way but sexually or financially right now. Okay. And it is more of the emotional support. It is more of the acts of service that I enjoy. Like, I see now what I need from a partner is that.
I also think in situations like this, right, when you're with somebody for that amount of time, right, you've upgraded their lives. Like, they've upgraded each other's lives by building a family, by building a home and a life together. You've upgraded someone's life so much so, in fact, that in order to maintain what they are now like accustomed to, it does cost a certain amount of money. Like, I remember like reading like something back in the day about, you know, how much child support Kim Porter was getting in addition to support to maintain her lifestyle, because when she got pregnant with her first child, or second, because I know Quincy is the oldest that she had with Albie Shore, and when she got pregnant with Christian, that took her out of her profession altogether. And so the amount of money that she was entitled to was also to maintain a lifestyle that she had maintained as a model prior to having a baby. And by having a baby, that took her out of work for a certain amount of time. So she was entitled to compensation for that, because she's now living a lifestyle that she can't maintain just herself, because she took time out to have a baby with this and had a part with her partner, right? And so I think in situations like that, when, you know, they're beneficial for all parties involved to some extent, right? But I think her being able to score like this with a prenup is amazing, because I'm a person that believes in prenups wholeheartedly. I think prenups are necessary.
I think everyone should, but also now the fact that this meant nothing at the end of the day. The prenup meant nothing.
And maybe it did, because what she was initially asking for was like $1.8 million a month. Like, what everything added up to.
She was asking for something crazy.
She was asking for like 1.8 a month, which is nuts.
She originally requested $2 million per month for spousal support.
Right.
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So he made out. This is a win for him.
Right. So
all right.
He did all right. Okay. Because this a lot of beats. This a lot of Beats by Dre, Shady Records, Aftermath, Sirius XM, Shade 45, money.
And listen, I know that we talking about it. I saw a lot of tweets from you regular niggas talking about, oh, I ain't getting married because it ain't gonna cost me $300,000 a month. You don't make $300,000 a year, so a marriage will never cost you this much, sir. Okay, y'all stop this shit. Fucking deliver my Amazon package and stop being on Twitter complaining about not getting married now because you don't want to pay a bitch this much money.
And more importantly than that, if nothing else, the incentive should be for some of y'all. Maybe you should get married. Okay, so maybe you could get $300,000 a month. Okay.
If we talk about relationships, though, I came across this goddamn Twitter, this twit post. Y'all know I be on Twitter a whole lot. And it did get picked up by the Shade Room. But Justine Scott, and we brought her up, I think, last week, discussing Normani possibly. But she wrote something, and she said, do you think it's weird if your friends are still friends with your ex, but you're not? Now, I wanted to ask you this only because I'm one of those girls, if we're going back into girl code, if you introduce me to a girl and we become friends and I vibe with the bitch and we super cool, if you and her fall out, I need you to know that's not necessarily fully gonna take me away from this person unless they did some foul ass shit. Like they shot you in the foot. Yes, I'm sorry, I won't be their friend anymore. But I believe in everyone bringing something different out of the other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if
I also think it depends. We talked at length about this too, about defining what friends really are.
okay, well,
because I mean
friends. Okay,
because I also think when the circumstances are different when there's children involved, right? It's like if you have a kid with somebody that was your ex and that's your baby daddy now, you gotta be, you know what I'm saying? Like there has to be, sometimes parents will still be cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have family members or friends that also have kids that are around, it's like they're naturally gonna be around each other and be in proximity and be friends and be cool because there's kids in the picture, right? But I think that I draw the line when it comes to involvement with things that I'm not involved in. Like I don't have any beef with any of my exes, right? Like I have
same.
I don't have beef with anybody. There's one ex that doesn't talk to me and he doesn't have beef with me, but he's married and has a kid. So his wife is like, no, you can never talk to her. So that's fine. I don't care. It's not my beef. I don't have beef. I don't care enough. But neither here nor there. In my mind, like my friends are still cool with him. Like they still talk to him and post to him, and you know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel no kind of way about that. More so because we didn't end on bad terms. There's just a boundary in place now that's respected just out of this for whatever reason for his marriage. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care that people are still friends with him. I don't care that he's still around. That doesn't bother me.